Hey, I'm here to talk to you about Need for Speed Payback. This is a good game with a bad release date. Um, After almost a year after its release, I kind of wanted to just kind of reflect back on it and talk about the game and why I'm liking it. For those who don't know, Need for Speed Payback released on November 10th, 2017. It was developed by Ghost Games, who have been making Need for Speed since Need for Speed Arrivals. And this game takes place in Fortune City, which is a fictionalized Las Vegas. And it's all of its surrounding areas. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map here. We'll set a destination. And this game did not review well, to be honest. Metacritic has all three platforms, PC, PS4, and Xbox One, in the low 60s. And I don't know. For me, I think that this game is a victim of its release date more than anything else. This is not a great game, but I do think it is a good game. Now, the reason why I think it's like a victim of the release date is because of the fact that it released in between like a bunch of high-profile games. Now, none of them were racing games, but they were high-profile games. So it was releasing in between Call of Duty World War II, Battlefront 2, Neo. Again, none of these things are really competitors, but it's a higher standard of a release window now. People expect AAA games. They expect like super high quality games that review higher than what this did in Metacritic. And I don't know, like, what happened to fun? Like, what just happened to having okay to good games? Like, why do they have to be so highly regarded? Why can't you just have fun? I review games. I preview games. I'll admit that I got this a little after release, and I kind of bounced off of it pretty quick. But, you know, as I said, I review games. I was working on things for Game of the Year. I was still working on some other reviews of stuff that came in, and I just couldn't get back to this right away. There was nothing that really jumped out at me that like I needed to consider for Game of the Year. But I didn't hate any of it. There's things that I don't like. Like, for instance, I think the game peaks like way too early. The first chapter end mission that you do, you clear that marker. It's a very Fast and Furious type of mission, and while the other missions that follow the other chapter ends are good closers, they just don't live up to the standard that the first one set. And so it kind of seems disappointing as a result. The main guy that you play as, Tyler, he's not great. He's actually the worst thing about the game. But the supporting characters that are around him are really cool. And they've got a little bit more personality and interesting things going on than Tyler does. I don't know. Each of those other levels had their own like levels of cool and tension that were fine on their own, but just couldn't compare. And that was kind of the main thing. Like, the story didn't hold up. The voice acting wasn't good. There was a lot of like legit complaints, but at the same time, like, this is a racing game. Like, the fact that it had a story was kind of cool, just to have that. My personal favorite of the Ghost games are are definitely 2015's Need for Speed. I thought that's kind of the top tier thing.
Hey guys, I'm hungry.
When's the last time you ate, Mac?
I'm not sure. Wait, I did eat summertime pizza yesterday.
That was you? I thought I had rats again.
You do? I had to fight one of them off for the last piece.
What, like a head-to-head duel?
Exactly. Good thing that rat couldn't reach the gas pedal.
It's stuff like that. Like, there's some just cool chatter, and it's not too much of a problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drive to a garage and swap out some cars, take a look at some cars. There's collectibles, you know, given that this is Vegas themed. There's chips you collect out in the world, which, I don't know, that's kind of neat, right? There was collectibles in the last game, and so, I don't know, it gives you a reason to explore, where you maybe wouldn't always. So you can always, you can buy as many cars as you want. You can store only so many in a garage, but then the rest go to a warehouse that you can kind of swap them out. Here's my off-road Plymouth Cuda. I've got a racing Challenger. I've got a racing Lamborghini. I've got a drifting Nissan. I kind of outfitted this car to look like part of the cover art of the game. So we'll go ahead and jump into this. Before I duck out, there's a ton of customization from the paint and wraps, things that you can do yourself or you can pull from the community. You can adjust the stance on drift cars. There's visual customization, so you know your windows. So if you want to tint everything out, you can set that. Change out the hood. There's even headlight changes that you can do. And then your performance customization. We'll get into this in a little bit. But you know, you can swap cars in the warehouse. So here's all of my cars here, and so on and so forth. Let's get back out there. And for each car, the handling is different depending on the mode that it was. There's some visual enhancements that you can do, so you can put colored tire smoke, different color NOS, things like that. Now there's 4 different disciplines: race, off-road, drag, and drift. There was a DLC expansion, which I don't have, that adds speed cross. So, you know, think like rallycross kind of stuff, but on a track with cars. Traditional speed cross kind of stuff. Wow, I barely hit that one. You know, the auto log is back, so you're kind of competing against friends and strangers and things. The damage model is very forgiving. You'll kind of take some scrapes as you race, but only if you kind of full-on wreck will you start to accrue like more impacting damage, but none of it's mechanical damage. I kind of wish you could just buy a single car and then outfit it for different things. I get why that wouldn't be the case, but it's still kind of unfortunate. Alright, we'll head over there. We'll check some stuff out here. Actually, what I really want to do is let's go to a tune shop. There's fast travel, so if you uncover a gas station, a tune-up shop, or you buy a garage, you can fast travel directly to it, which, I think exploring the open world is great. Sometimes you just need to get across town, and I'll be not the first person to admit, but it's kind of silly to buy a car for a specific purpose. It allows you to make some radically different cars and kind of force you to diversify. So because I own this Skyline, I wasn't inclined to buy a race Skyline, and I wasn't inclined to buy an off-road Skyline. So I would buy a different car, and pull from a different, era, whether it was like, a tuning car or a muscle car or whatever. Like, I would choose differently that way. Now, this card system is not like great. This is what I have equipped currently. There's different manufacturers. If you stack manufacturers of these cards, then you get a bonus. Some cards come with a bonus, but ultimately it's just making the cards work for you, making the numbers go up, make you have more of a green number over on the left side. So like if we go over to this buy menu, like if I buy this 14 exhaust, my numbers go up. If I buy this gearbox, those numbers go up. And that's really what you're looking for. You feel progression this way, but it's not what I would have wanted. I think because you spend money on like the visual upgrades, I feel like there should be traditional parts that you outfit. The longevity wouldn't have been there like the card system provides, but it would have been a little bit more cohesive, and I feel like a lot of people wouldn't have felt so wronged by microtransactions, as it were. But I mean, that's not really the case here. It's all handled in game. It's just weird. That's really all it came down to. But I think this is a really cool game. There's cutscenes and things, but like I miss the FMV from 2015's Need for Speed. I miss there's some amazing lighting here. Like nighttime looks the best because of the way that the lighting kind of provides it. Like sunlight just kind of washes everything out, but at nighttime you really get to see like how beautiful things can be. It's hard. Like, I've put 20 hours into this game. I've beaten the story, and it's just cool to just drive around and explore everything. Probably one of the coolest things I think is the derelicts. I have found all of these cars already, so I have one in my garage, and we will actually go back there so I can show one of them off. Reason why I want to do that is because there's kind of a bonus that once it reaches level 300 or higher, you can do like this ultimate build on it. Oh. Oh. Okay. I have derelicts, but I don't know where they went. All right, well, they're here. You know what? The derelict slot is for ones that you're currently building, not ones that you have built. So this is one of the race ones that I've built out. I tried kind of diversifying, as I said earlier, across different disciplines. So I thought it'd be really funny to have a drag beetle, have a couple of off-road versions. This is my pride and joy here, my runner. Oh yeah, Runner. I didn't actually cover Runner. Runner is one where you do these like high intensity timed missions where the goal is to kind of either gather information or deliver a person or whatever the case may be. But it's kind of illicit in some way, and and kind of no surprise, they introduce cops into a majority of those missions, and so you'll have to run away from the cops. Sometimes it's a little arbitrary in that you just have to reach a certain destination and they scriptedly taper off and disappear. But a lot of these runner missions can be really cool because like you're fighting the cops, you're fighting the time, you're taking damage, and like it's really fun to kind of just mess up the cops, because when you're out here in the open world, sadly, there's no cops. It's only when the game wants there to be cops will you ever get them. It would be really cool if you could do stuff with the cops here, because even in 2015's Need for Speed, that's something that you could do. Comparisons can be made to the Crew and Forza Horizon of what this game is doing, and I mean, imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery, right? And I think they were very much trying to do their own thing with Payback, but it's hard not to see the comparisons and kind of the inspiration of what drove this game. These derelicts are super fun to drive, super awesome to get leveled up, and they get really unique looks compared to any of the other vehicles that you have. All right, let's drive out to the desert, shall we? If you start taking too much damage, then like the signal lights start to blink, your hazards go off. Like it's kind of cool how like if you're taking the car too hard, kind of thing. You get points for going into oncoming traffic. Like one thing to also note is like you're not really seeing me struggle with the driving, because the driving model I think is really solid. It's very much that arcadey Need for Speed thing that it is, but it feels good to play. It's just one of those games that it feels good to play. This game is often challenging, especially like the back 2/5 of the chapters story mission stuff. Like it definitely increases in difficulty. You need to have a car that has like the latest cards equipped with the highest ratings in order to do well. Like there's tons of activities to do. You get stars based on that, which is kind of your overall rating. There's the hidden cars to find. Like and then there's multiplayer. So doing these things online against other people, right? You chain all this stuff together. You do it differently, and then you get a score to go up, and you level up, which unlocks shipment crates. These bait crates are actually like cop missions. So while in the open world, like what I'm doing, I'm not going to see a cop and I'm not going to be chased by a cop. If you at least go after those bait crates, that's something in the way of being able to pull cops into the open world, but it's still technically a mission. It wouldn't be a Ghost Games game if there weren't billboards. If you didn't know, Ghost Games is primarily made up of those who were in Criterion. who developed the Burnout series. There's a demo of Need for Speed Payback on Origin, and I would think the consoles as well. If you have EA access, I would say try it that way too. This is a game that will not, you know, blow your socks off, but at the same time, like, you're gonna have such a blast. I've put 20 hours in this game. Like, this is a good racing game. This is a good Need for Speed game even. It kind of calls back to the old Underground days with like all of the car customization and stuff like that. Like, it does a very good job at being a racing game and a good Need for Speed game, and I think more people just really need to play this. So if you've got the time, if you've got the access, or if you've got the money, I really think you need to check this out. That's gonna do it for me. Thanks for watching, and talk to you again soon.